In this video, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to answer the top 10 questions that I get asked from potential customers who are interested in Google Ads. So a lot of customers thinking, hey, should I implement a Google Ads campaign? And if I do, how do I go about it? Who do I choose to implement my Google Ads campaign? Is it going to suit my business and so on? So I get loads of questions about Google Ads. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to answer the top 10 questions in reverse order from the least popular to the most popular questions. So do keep watching, especially to the end, because towards the end I'll be answering the questions that I get most commonly asked, and hopefully this will give you a bit of information or give you an idea about whether Google Ads is right for you and how you should go about implementing your Google Ads campaign. And likewise, if you've got any questions on Google Ads, drop them in the comments below. Right, there's a comments area below this video. Drop your comments, and what I'll do is that I'll make sure that in one of my videos I do address one of your questions. So before I do continue, you know the ropes. Do subscribe to my channel. Do like my channel, because you are then helping me to promote my videos to a greater audience and to help more people, more business people just like you, or if maybe business people, or maybe you're working as a Google Ad specialist or a digital marketing team, or you just want to learn Google Ads. So do subscribe, do support me in this channel. So let's get on with it. So the top 10 questions about Google Ads that I get asked when somebody is thinking about implementing a Google Ads campaign. So the first question, how will you assess my business's readiness for a Google Ads campaign? So what they're trying to say is that, hey, is my business ready for a Google Ads campaign? And the answer is, when we get approached by potential customers to say, hey, we're interested in a Google Ads campaign, there's a few things that we look for. First of all, we look for your website to see if you've got a website at all. If not, we say to our customers, hey, why don't you invest the first bit of your budget towards getting a website developed? And then we look at the nature of your products, your services. There are some products which are very much suited to Google Ads, but there are a few products which are not quite suited to Google Ads or are against Google Ads policy. We look at your competition to see what's the competition nature of your business. So that will, when we package all this up, we can then have a bit of an idea as to whether your website or your business is ready to implement a Google Ads campaign. The second question is, what steps will you take to set up my first Google Ads campaign, and what information do you need from me? Well, what we do is that every time we take on a customer, the first thing that we do is we send them a generic questionnaire. And this is the same questionnaire which goes out to everyone. And that gives us a very good foundation in terms of understanding your business, your competitors, your budgets, your products, your services, the locations that you wish to target, and so on. So we then get all that information, and once you've got all that information, if we've got any questions, then we come back to you and we tell you, hey, can you elaborate on this, or what about this? So we discuss your campaign, and that gives us a solid foundation to build a campaign which is profitable for your business at a very early stage, because we've got that core information that we need to build a successful Google Ads campaign. Budget and costs. What budget do you recommend for starting out, and what should I expect in terms of costs? Well, in terms of budget, it really does depend on your industry sector, because for some industries, your cost per click, also known as CPC, could be very low. It could be as low as 50 pence or £1. But in some industries, like for example the financial industry, it could be really high. It could be even in excess of £10 per click, because we know, and Google knows, that the perceived value of your product or service is really high. So, and then you look at competition factors and so on. So in terms of budget, it really does vary from industry to industry. But what we say is an absolute minimum, try to go for at least £10 to £15 a day, and that's for a business whereby your products or services, your cost per click for your products or services is going to be relatively inexpensive. But we do give you some advice and guidance in terms of how much you really should be allocating, and that is based on the questionnaire that you fill in. And when we start looking at your industry, we give you some sort of an indication as to what is a realistic budget to allocate towards your campaigns or your Google Ads account. And it also depends on how many services you wish to promote, because the more services or the more products you wish to promote, naturally you're going to have a need to allocate a higher budget. As a company, what we always do is that we always advise our customers, if it's a brand new campaign, to start off slow. So start off on a low budget, and maybe even 1 or 2 or 3 different campaigns, and then let's get those to work, let's get those profitable, and then as and when those get profitable, let's then expand into new campaigns, and then we can allocate more budget to it. But by this stage, you're already making money and you're already profitable. So keyword strategies. So how will you identify the best keywords for my business, and how do you plan to target them? Well, first of all, we've got a lot of tools that we use to work out what keywords that you should be using for your business to promote your products and services. So we use our tools to get a wealth of information about what keywords are, what the cost per click is, and so on. So we generally, what we do is we divide your keywords into various categories. So we've got your buying intent keywords, and your buying intent keywords are whereby people are ready to purchase your product or service. For example, somebody might be typing in a coach hire near me or minibus hire near me. So they are actively looking for a minibus to hire for their party, their wedding function, or whatever they've got on. Whereas other keywords could be research intent keywords. And that could be, for example, what type of minibus should I hire? So that's a research intent keyword. So we'll allocate a lower budget to those campaigns and a higher budget to those campaigns whereby the buying intent is there, people are ready to buy, they're ready to inquire. But also what we'll do, we'll also look at negative keywords as well. So for example, in the case of a minibus, you could have a minibus company whereby you've got 10 different types of minibuses or coaches, and the smallest one could be 10-seater or 10-passenger minibus. So in that case, there's no point advertising keywords for if somebody's looking for a 6-seater or 6-passenger minibus or a 7-seater minibus, because you've only got 10 passenger minibuses. So what we would do is that we would add other keywords as something called negative keywords. And that is, for example, we might say 8. If somebody types in 8-seater minibus, we don't want to add to show, because we don't have an 8-seater minibus. The smallest one we've got is 10-seater, and so on. So we do a very comprehensive exercise in terms of establishing your keywords, your buying intent keywords, your research intent keywords, and your negative keywords. Campaign goals. So what type of campaigns do you recommend that will achieve the best results for my business? So we have goals. So we set up technical goals within your Google Ads campaign so that we can measure the success of your Google Ads campaign. So we want to be able to tell you at the end of each month, we want to be able to tell you that, hey, this is how many leads that we've delivered for you as a result of your Google Ads campaign, or this is how many sales that we've delivered for you. So what we generally tend to do is we try to divide them into primary goals or primary conversions and secondary goals. What I mean by that is your primary goals are the goals whereby people have actively made a contact with you. So for example, they might have phoned you, or they might have gone onto your form. You might have a booking form and they've filled that in and they've submitted that form, or they might have an inquiry form, and so on. So those are tangible primary goals, because that's what's going to help you to achieve more sales and make your business more profitable. But we also couple that with secondary goals as well. So examples of secondary goals might be somebody might have downloaded your brochure, and that's a secondary goal because they haven't directly made an inquiry yet, but they've downloaded your brochure, or they've clicked to subscribe to your social media channel like Facebook or something. Or maybe we could even deem that, for example, add to cart maybe as a secondary goal, because they haven't bought a product yet, but they have shown the intent to buy that product. So we can then implement various strategies to retarget those customers. So hope that answers your questions about your goals. Another question is about ad creation and testing. So the question is, how will you create effective ads for my business? And how do you test and refine the ads? Well, first of all, we've got professional copywriters in-house who help us to come up with the best creatives for your ads, because your ads are ultimately what gets displayed on the Google page, and they can be responsible for making or even breaking your business. So what you want to do, you want to have ads whereby you're attracting your potential customers to get more qualified leads, but at the same time you want ads which are going to disqualify people who may click on your ad, but they will never be your customers. An example of that is, let's say, for example, if you're, again, I'll use the example of a minibus or a service or a coach hire service. Let's say, for example, if your minibus hire starts off from £200 a day. Now, if somebody is searching for a minibus and they want to pay £50 a day, then clearly they are not your customers. So they might click on your ad, which is going to cost you. They might end up on your website and find out, oh my God, they're charging £200 a day. So that's wasted your click, and they're not going to become your customer. So what we can do is, in the ad copy, we can say minibus hire from £200 per day. So in that way, we're disqualifying them. They are less likely to click on the ad because they can already see, hey, my budget is £50 a day, but these guys are charging £200 a day, so I'm not going to click on the ad. Okay, so this is one method we use to improve the quality of your ads. And then what we do other things. For example, we don't just create like headlines to show to people on Google. We break them down into various different categories. So we have some headlines, some ad copy, which relate to the keyword that people have used. So if they're typing minibus hire in Birmingham, we'll make sure we've got at least one piece of text or ad copy or headline which says minibus hire and Birmingham, so they can resonate with it and they feel that they're clicking on the right ad. But then we'll have some other categories. For example, we'll have some call to action ads, ad copy, which is, hey, people can click here to book now or get your free quote. But then we'll have also some which are going to create a degree of scarcity. So for example, we might say, for this month only, 20% off. But then we'll have some which are adding value. They're giving information about, like, for example, we've got fully qualified bus drivers or minibus drivers and so on. So we'll break these down into various different categories. The next question is about target audiences. So the question is, how will you ensure my ads reach the right customers? A very good question. It's a very common question. And that is, we use various different strategies to work out how we are going to target your customers. For example, one method we use, and just one method, is using keywords. So keywords is the most popular method. So that's when people are going onto the Google page and they're typing in, for example, minibus hire in Birmingham, or minibus coach hire, or coach hire near me, and so on. So they are keywords, and it's a bit more comprehensive because there's different types of something called match types. We won't go into detail on that. That's for another video that I've got somewhere within my YouTube channel. Another method we use to target your potential customers is audience targeting. So what we can do in Google Ads, we can say that, hey, if, for example, you're a letting agent, we could say that your potential customers might be a homeowner, or they might be interested in home improvements, in which case the ads will be shown to people who are in those audiences as opposed to other audiences. So we can say, if they're a homeowner, then increase the bid because they're likely to be our customer. Another way we can target your potential customers is by using demographics. So we can say, for example, your products or services might only be applicable to people who are in the age of, say, 45 onwards. So there's no point showing your ads to people who are 18 to 24, for example. So we can then tell Google that, hey, we want to target people with these keywords, but if somebody deems to be in the age range of 18 to 24 or 24 to 35 and so on, we've got these various brackets, then we don't want our ads to be shown to them. So in that way, you're really hyper targeting your ads to people who are more likely to be your customers. Another crucial way to target your customers is by using location targeting. So you could have a service whereby you're only targeting certain parts of your country maybe, or certain cities or towns. And we can tell Google things like, hey, we only want to target these towns or these cities, or we want to target people who have got an interest in these locations. So they might not live in that location. For example, they might not live in London, but they've got an interest in London. Or they might be physically in London. So, for example, we want to show our ads to people who are physically in London when they're conducting their search. Again, it's improving the way we're targeting your potential customers. Another question is based on performance tracking and reporting. The question is, how often will you report on campaign performance and what metrics will you track? So usually for most accounts, we will give monthly reporting. So at the start of each month, we will give a report based on what's happened with the previous month. And that report will also contain details about what we've got planned for the current month. But for some larger campaigns with larger budgets, the frequency of reports might be increased to either once a week or once fortnightly. It really does depend on the nature of your business and the competitive nature, how much budget we're allocating, and so on. The latter part of that question is, what metrics we will use. Now, a lot of agencies, what they tend to do is they report on vanity metrics like clicks and impressions. We try to, even though we do report on those, we report on more of the tangible metrics, such as how many sales you made, how many conversions you made, or what your cost per lead has been, or your cost per sale has been, what's your conversion rate, what's your return on ad spend. So hey, for every £1 that you spent, how many pounds have you got back? Have you spent £1 and got £3 back, or £1 spent and got £10 back in return? So those are the metrics that we usually try to report on. And then so we give an overview that, hey, account wise, this is how you're doing, but then we go into campaign level or category level to see, to report on how each campaign is reporting as opposed to just overall. Then question number 9 is regarding optimization. How often do you plan to optimize my campaigns and improve its results over time? So we do various levels of optimization. So firstly, we do weekly optimization on your Google Ads campaign. And what we don't do, we don't go in and on most accounts, unless you've got a very big account, we don't optimize it every single day, because we need to let the algorithm understand the optimizations that we've done and try to understand it, and it's going to work in our favor. Because if we keep changing things every single day or every single minute, it's never going to really learn about how to target your potential customers. So for most customers, every week we conduct one optimization once or twice per week. Then we have monthly optimization, whereby we look at the whole performance of the previous month and see what the numbers are, how many conversions you've had, what the cost per conversion is, what the conversion rate is, and so on. But then we also look at quarterly to say that, hey, quarterly, how have we done and what can we do for the next quarter? And this is whereby we involve the business a lot more to say, hey, as a business, what are you planning for the next quarter? What services are you planning on promoting for the next quarter? And then we can take that into account. For example, if it's summer and for the next quarter, let's say, for example, the winter is around the corner, there's no point promoting these summer products or services. So therefore, our focus could be on the more of the winter products or services. The last question, which is one that everybody asks, is to do with timelines and expectations. So the common question is, what timeline should I expect to see meaningful results, and what can I expect in terms of campaign growth? Well, this is a $1 million question. The short answer is that it could be as quick as the first week you start seeing conversions flow in, but depending on the nature of your product or services, it could take a little bit longer. It could be maybe during the second week, but normally it's in the first to second week, depending on the nature of your products or services. For example, you could have a product or service which is highly competitive and requires, it could be not only highly competitive, but the value of the product could be very high. So people need a longer period of time to think about it. For example, if you're selling furniture, if you're selling beds, for example, your product could be from £500 to £1,000. It's not a spontaneous purchase product. So people are not going to go on to Google and just click on the buy button straight away. They're really going to need to think about it. They're going to need to think about the size, the mattress, the whether it's a foldable, whether they need single bed, double bed, how is it going to fit inside their room. They might need to consult with their partners to say, hey, what do you think about this bed, the headboard, and so on. So the buying cycle might be a little bit longer. Whereas if, for example, you're buying a pen or a pencil, so you want to buy this, for example, and if it's, say, £2, £3 or £5 or £10, it's more of a spontaneous purchase. So it really does depend on the nature of your products, but we normally aim to get results within the first working week, which is why we ask these questionnaires. We spend a lot of time building out the campaign and researching your keywords, researching your competitors, so that you get your Google Ads campaign gets profitable right from the beginning. Guys, so I hope you found that useful. Let me know what your questions are. Put your questions below. Let me know what your questions are. And what I'm doing is I'm going to try to do this more frequently, whereby I'm going to create more videos based on some of the common questions that people get asked, or people ask me when approaching me to say, hey, AJ, could you set up a Google Ads campaign for my business? And so if you've got any questions, drop them in the comments below, and I will take them into account when I do a future video. And likewise, do remember to share this video, do remember to like this video, and just put a general comment in the comments area, because all these factors are going to help me to send this video out to more people. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you on another video. But just before I do, there'll be some more videos on the left or right of this. Click on it to learn more about Google Ads and how Google Ads can benefit your company and how you can make it more profitable. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.